Welcome to the Short Funk Podcast. I'm Tom Barbalet. One of the things that hasn't been going on when I haven't been recording Short Funks, how does this go? One of the things I haven't recorded on when I wasn't recording Short Funks is associated with my newfound interest. They say love. I'll just say interest. Late night interest. For a game called Blood Bowl. It was a Games Workshop classic, released, I think, in 1989 initially, like a lot of these games, and has since gone through a few machinations, but has recently been re-released by Games Workshop. The beautiful thing about Blood Bowl was it was neglected for such a long period of time by Games Workshop that actually a number of really quite interesting third-party miniature manufacturers started making miniatures for Blood Bowl. And when I went back to Australia, I planned ahead. I sent a copy of Blood Bowl to my friends, Anthony and Rebecca, Bean and Beck as they're called on Facebook, and did so with the expressed interest that when I was back in Australia, I needed to spend some kind of neutral time doing other thing, and playing a game of Blood Bowl required that these folk get a copy of Blood Bowl early, put it together, and be in a position where I could come and play. Very self-serving, very curious, very, I don't know, maybe egotistical, slightly maniacal, the kinds of things that you get through Short Funks anyway, associated with my own psychology. So I went and played a game with them, and unfortunately it's Orcs vs. Humans in the box set. The Orcs, I think, are far too powerful. The humans need a few ogres or a few things that just can enact the kind of destruction on the Orcs that the Orcs can enact on the humans. The notion of the way that I play Blood Bowl as an Orc player is that the ball is secondary and the aim of the game is actually to eliminate the opposing team through sheer brute strength. And because I understand a little bit of probability, there's a 1 in 6 advantage that the Orcs have in terms of just general strength. And if you play that 1 in 6 advantage 18, 20 times, you get to a scenario where basically the humans are progressively getting killed. And that's that. So, in light of this experience, I've been wondering through, by playing a Blood Bowl, whether I should buy a copy for the US. Whether I should start trying to play games with my wife, whether I should make this thing into a fun pastime, which, aside from all the podcasts and various other things I do, I have very little shared hobby interests with my wife, and this struck me as a potentially interesting way of spending some quality time with my wife where she can do things like paint and do other things associated with this game, but we could just have a generally fun time. And my broad concern was just that the humans and the Orcs were over. Like, it wasn't going to be fun, basically, unless my wife played the Orcs. And I've also looked into the third-party miniature market associated with what could loosely be described as fantasy football. All very interesting stuff. Amazing miniatures, made predominantly in Europe for a pretty penny, that, of course, are no way legal in the Games Workshop experience. So I went to my local game store today, my friendly local game store, and spent a period of time talking with the owner who's just about to start up a Blood Bowl league, and just wondering whether or not if I bought a third-party if I bought a third-party team, whether or not I would be able to play it in said league. And he was unsure. I mean, the current scenario is that Games Workshop hasn't released enough teams. They've released 3 teams. They've released a Ratman or Skaven team, obviously the box set, human, and Orc teams. But there are so many other teams that could be available that Games Workshop hasn't yet released. And I think if these leagues are going to play out, it's all going to be with legacy miniatures and the current release miniatures. Current release miniatures are a little bit different to legacy miniatures. The whole thing is malformed currently. Needs a bit more work. Needs a bit more, I don't know. Anyway, so outstanding question associated with whether third-party miniatures will be allowed in the leagues. But I went out this morning and bought a box set of Blood Bowl for the purpose of playing it in the future sometime. Tom Barbalet in San Jose, signing out.